With all respect to Mikuru, he's one of my friends. He couldn't have done anything. I mean, his opponent, he's a phenom. He's a once in a generation talent. We need to go see him tested in the UFC. Ryzin really created a monster, and he is a monster. This is crazy. I think he could overwhelm Marab.
Oh, really?
The sky is the limit for Kyoma. I think he's going to outgrow JTT. I think he's going to outgrow training in Japan. He's certainly going to be the Ryzin champion. He's probably one of the best talents in Japan right now. So keep Kyoma away from girls, keep Kyoma away from alcohol, and keep him training hard. He's going to be undeniable.
What did you think when Souza lost in like 13 seconds, I believe? Were you surprised? Oikubo versus Motoya.
Great fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
I think he's amazing. Like, to say the least, I have nothing bad to say about him. I think he's amazing. I think he's had a great career, and something, he'll go down as one of the greats, I think.
Because I wanted to talk to you about Hiroya and Makoto's fight.
As long as he can keep getting better, I think he's going to have his time, and I think he really could become the Ryzin champion. Honest in my heart, I believe Hiroya can become the Ryzin champion.
The main event, Mikuru versus Shade O'Ref. I wanted to ask you if there was anything Mikuru could have done better. From my novice point of view, it seemed like just the level of the two athletes were just too different for the outcome to be different. But what do you think?
No, he couldn't have done anything. With all respect to Mikuru, he's one of my friends. Ho's coming out to Vegas soon. I'll see him when he comes out. Like, we'll get dinner together, I'm sure. His opponent, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, however it is. He's a phenom. He's a once in a generation talent. We need to go see him tested in the UFC. And actually, I spoke to his manager today. I'm good friends with him. They're even like, what do we do with him? So maybe he'll fight Hiramoto next or something.
Oh, no, let's not do that.
Who does he fight? There's nobody in Japan or in Ryzin on his level, so Ryzin really created a monster, and he is a monster. Mikuru maybe could have knocked him out with a lucky punch or something, and that was his chance. But I think there really wasn't much he could do. He went out there and he was brave to go do it, and tried to make a change and make a difference, just like when Kai knocked out Horiguchi back when he had a 2% chance of winning, sort of thing. But yeah, it just is what it is.
Right.
Shogunai,
Shogunai. Very good. So you think Shade O'Ref is good enough to compete in the UFC? He's at that level?
Yeah, he's a top 10 bantamweight for sure.
What about featherweight? Because he competes at featherweight at the moment.
I don't think he's that big. I really don't think he's that big. I mean, I think he could win fights. And who knows? He could totally surprise me. So I have no idea. But I think he's a bantamweight, like a true bantamweight.
His frame isn't very big, right?
Yeah, I've stood next to him. I don't think he's a featherweight, to be honest with you. But in Japan, like, Japanese fighters don't historically cut a lot of weight. So I think it's fine that he's at featherweight.
Right. But in the UFC, he would probably have more success if he went down to bantamweight.
Yeah, I think so, because you're going to have guys that really can wrestle. And like the biggest difference is wrestling. Jiu-jitsu is not, I don't think, too much of a concern, to be honest with you. So it's guys that can wrestle and defend his wrestling and then catch him in transitions is where I think he'd struggle, at that very high level. A Diego Lopez, I think, would be a nightmare for him. Alex Volkanovski, I think, would be a nightmare for him.
Right.
But I think he could make a run on bantamweight.
Apparently, I mean, the rumors are he has a couple more fights on his contract in Ryzin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just mentioned Ren, but I mean, who's he gonna fight? I guess is the question, because after he beat, who was it, the kickboxer or Kureburu, they were talking about him going up to lightweight and fighting Souza, having the double title match kind of thing. But
maybe
Souza lost, and the Nojimofu, the guy who knocked him out, he could be a potential opponent. I mean, the size difference would be huge.
I don't think that the guy that knocked out Souza, I don't even think he's a lightweight.
No,
I think
you're right. He competed at featherweight.
He's a featherweight.
Yeah.
I think like that could make sense for a great fight. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what his team is thinking. I have no clue. Like I said, I'm friendly with his manager, but I don't really know. I think that they just want to make sure he's a monster and gets ready to go to the next step in his career. So I don't know how much risks they were going to want to take. Like, I think fighting, what is it, Roberto Satoshi? I think that's too risky of a fight.
Right.
Satoshi's very strong and very good and a good grappler. In the right moment, he could beat Sadulayev or Sadulayev.
Let's call him Chef.
Chef, yeah. Sorry. The Russian names are difficult for me.
No, it's difficult for everyone.
Yeah.
So, like, when you say a dangerous opponent, you mean that he might have a loss on his record in meaning dangerous, because the Japanese fans they kind of have a different mentality. Like, you went up in weight and you challenged this bigger guy and you lost. Who cares, you know?
Well, yeah, but like the UFC won't sign you off a loss. So that just means like, I don't know what his contract deal is, but if he lost a fight, that means he definitely has to fight again to get a win to then go to the UFC. So I don't know what his deal's like, but I doubt they'll sign him off a loss. They've never historically done that.
So you got to keep his record clean until he just wants to go to the UFC, which would mean he would just continue competing at featherweight. I mean, who's an opponent? Because Keramofu lost to Kureburu, so Kureburu's back up in that top ranking, and then like just kind of
yes, I don't know. I'm not like, there's no fights that interest me at the moment for him. I guess the current lightweight champ that is really a featherweight, I guess that'd be fun. You know, Ryzin Shingo-san is the best in the world at making matchups. He's pretty amazing at it. So I'm sure he'll come up with something great, you know.
Right. Who do you think would be a good, let's say Chef goes to Bantamweight, who's like a good opponent that you would like to see him against?
In the UFC?
Yeah.
Mario Batista. Bantamweight Mario Batista is just like an all-rounder. He's good everywhere. He's going to strike with you. He can wrestle. He can grapple. And I think if he can get past Mario Batista, he's fighting a top 5 opponent and then fights for the title. I think that would be like his path.
You think it's there's a high possibility of him being pretty successful in there? In
the UFC?
Yeah, like let's say what you just outlined.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's certain guys at bantamweight that are going to cause him trouble. Like, I think, you know, this is crazy, but I think he could overwhelm Merab.
Oh, really?
I think his style matches up good for Merab. I don't think it matches up good against like a Peter Yan.
Huh, interesting.
There's certain guys that I think are going to be tricky for him. Like, I think Mario Batista's a tricky fight for him. I'd have to have the roster, the top 15 in front of me, but I think Merab's, it's a tough fight, but I think he kind of has that youthful energy and strength to get it done. And I think he has a lot of familiarity with wrestling guys from Russia or the Eastern Bloc. It's something you have to feel and understand. Like, they wrestle different than Americans. They wrestle different than Japanese. But when you can understand how they feel and you're already a good wrestler, I think you could create a good plan.
Interesting. I think a lot of people listening to this video will be surprised to hear you say that he would go well against Merab.
Yeah, I mean, Merab's getting older. The weight cuts, I know, hard for him. He showed his weakness in his, you know, he struggles at taking body shots. He struggles at holding guys down that create scrambles and that initiate wrestling back with him. You know, the guys that he beats the best is when they're really trying to defend his wrestling. And when you defend his wrestling, you stop moving and then you get stuck. You know, it's just one of those things. I do think that, you know, he could overwhelm Merab.
That's interesting.
Now, right now, maybe no, but like 2 fights in the UFC, yes, I think so.
I see. I'm really looking forward to Chef going to the UFC. I'm very interested in seeing how he competes.
Yeah, me too. It would be really amazing to see how he does, and you know, hopefully he does well.
Yeah, I hope so too. Bringing the conversation back to Mikuru, there was a little bit of a controversial topic concerning the stoppage, but did you feel that it was a little bit late?
It's one of those things. He's such a big star. You almost got to always consider Mikuru as a champion, like just because of how popular he is. Like, he kind of has that aura. So I can understand from one point, maybe the ref wanted to just make sure 100% there was nothing left. I mean, you know, Mikuru, I think they have like their whole team is just jiu-jitsu coaches or something, I think. And so maybe they thought that he could scramble or do something. I don't know. They gave him the benefit of the doubt on the ground. But I mean, yeah, as a friend, I would have liked to see it stopped earlier. I mean, you never want to see somebody get hurt. I mean, I would have liked to see them stop it earlier. But the thing is, he kept good composure for what it was. I thought a really bad stoppage was the Kubo Yuta fight.
Yeah.
Like, that was like, dude, stop the fight. That was, I don't think that was cool at all. That bothered me, actually. I don't even think I watched the end of it. It bothered me that much. So I don't know.
It wasn't that bad, right? Yeah.
I mean, I think he broke some bones in his face. I think it was like bad enough to he broke his orbital bone or something. But like, so it was bad, but he still kept good composure. And I think they were just giving him every chance to scramble out of it, you know?
Sorry, that came out wrong. I was meaning to say it wasn't as bad as the Kubo fight. It wasn't that bad.
Oh yeah, the Kubo fight was terrible. It was like, please stop the fight.
That was, you know, a little bit late, or, you know, they could have stopped at any moment.
I mean, you couldn't recognize Kubo leaving the cage or leaving the ring. I mean, like, his face was destroyed. That was rough. That was a rough one. I think that That was one of the worst stoppages I've ever seen, actually.
Yeah, that was bad, but the Mikuru one, it's a hard job being a ref. I mean, watching that fight and what the fans said about the stoppage after that, like, if you stop it early, you're gonna get so much shit from everyone. Like, it's hard.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, I wish he wouldn't have gotten hurt, and maybe it could have been stopped a little bit earlier for sure. But I would hope at least the ref, their mindset was give him every opportunity until there's not. So it's hard to say.
Mikuru, he has to take some time off and recover, but who would be a good comeback fight for him?
You know, I don't know how long the orbital bone is. Like, I broke my orbital bone. I think I was back like 3-4 months after. So I'm not sure of the severity for him. I think an entertaining fight is Hiromoto. Like, their whole thing now is like they're all training jiu-jitsu and like they're all trying to get better at jiu-jitsu, I think. And so I'd like to see Hiromoto. Maybe they can make it an entertaining fight.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know what's very entertaining to me. I think, you know, Kilma beat up Smoker. So that takes Smoker out of it.
Yeah, it does.
He already beat Chihiro Suzuki, and Chihiro looks terrible in that fight. I don't think Chihiro gets a rematch. I don't think that's good. He beat Kleber.
Yeah.
I don't really want to see that fight again. I'm not entertained by it. So I think Hiromoto 2 is a good one. And then, like, I know it will never happen, but like when the protege tests the sensei,
kill him,
you know?
Right?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't, maybe for Japanese MMA, maybe that could happen, but I mean, I don't know.
As far as like the fans, you know, wanting to watch the fight and the hype, it would be big, but those two fight each other wouldn't, like, yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe no. Maybe no. You know, maybe not a good idea. You know, actually a fun one would be Mikuru and Yaman.
Yaman, right? Yeah, that would be great. That'd be great.
I mean, listen, Yaman, I think he took down Kanahara, and I think Kanahara is like a wrestler or something, or a grappler.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, Yaman, I think he's getting better, and he can obviously strike. So that could be a fun one.
It would be, as far as like the fight itself would be very entertaining, I would imagine.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of story because Yaman beat him in kickboxing rules. You know, you can make a good promotion video out of that. Yeah,
for sure. For sure.
Actually, that's a good one. That's a good one. But the Ren fight does have to happen. You're right. They have to have that rematch.
Has to. You know, I'd like to see Ren and Mikuru get after it. But, you know, Mikuru's obviously come back since that fight. He's won 2 great fights. I think there's also something to say about challenging the best in the world. Like when you challenge, you know, Chef and like go and you feel what that feels like. I think that makes you a better fighter, even if you lose.
Right.
So I think that's all positive.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. That plays out. He's probably only got a couple more fights left in his career, so yeah, I hope we can see some good matchups. And he already like left his mark, and he did bring Ryzin to the next level, right? So
yeah, I think just all big fights. I mean, he's a legend for sure. I mean, no matter what your opinion is on Mikuru, like if it wasn't for Mikuru, I don't think Ryzin would be where it's at right now. I think he revived it, and then his brother's trying to carry the torch in the UFC, and I think it's very commendable what both of them are doing. You know,
it's true. And whoever they've kind of fought and touched also became stars, you can say, almost like Hagiwara, Smoker, and Ren. So they not only brought Ryzin up, they created stars within there. Like after they're gone, they're going to be around too. So yeah, they kind of brought it up, and then what they've done is going to help Ryzin continue to go up.
Well, just think about if there was no Mikuru, how many fighters wouldn't exist? There'd be no Ren. Like without those characters, there wouldn't be the villains.
Yeah.
There wouldn't. I mean, that's how I see it. It's like good guys and bad guys.
It is like that.
And even like Hiroya, you know, like without Mikuru, there's no Hiroya.
Yeah.
And Hiroya's a star in his own right, you know?
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, so I hope we get to see, you know, him do a couple more fights, and they'll all be big events. Moving on. What did you think when Souza lost in like 13 seconds, I believe? Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was surprised. And I was kind of like, the lightweight division's been kind of frustrating because it just feels like Souza's so good, and there's like there's no fun matchups in the weight class. Like there's no matchup that gets me excited in the lightweight division, and Souza's very, very good. So I was surprised. You know, I think again, it just comes down to like international training, and like I think Nemavov, or however you say his name, like he trains at Tiger Muay Thai. He's always getting new training partners, new Americans, Russians, like all these different types of looks. And so he's ready for guy to shoot in on a takedown. You know, I was surprised for sure.
Right.
But and I think in a rematch, I think Souza wins.
I think everyone thinks like that too. Yeah.
It just is what it is. Yeah. It's just one of those things.
Do you feel like it's important for fighters to, like you just talked about Nojimov training in Tiger Muay Thai and sparring a lot of different people? You feel like it's important for fighters to leave their gym and go to other places?
Yeah, if you want to get better, 100%. I tell my guys in the States, and I've told Hiroya this. I was like, because he's like the only guy I work with from Japan, really. Him and sometimes Ryo Takagi. But anyways, when I coach guys, I tell them, hey, go to another gym for 3 months out of the year. Go learn from another coach. I'm not the end all be all. I'm here to create a structure for you and to help you get better, but you need to go learn other perspectives and ways of thinking from different coaches and different types of athletes. You know, so I think it's good to train other places. And just to be honest, when you look at the UFC, the Japanese guys in the UFC, the guys that are staying in Japan are not winning, I don't think. But the guys that have committed to going to the US, like Horiguchi, Tatsuro spends a lot of time in the US, they're winning. There's a reason. You have to be here because you need the bodies and you need the different looks. In Japan, you do have great training partners. There is that, but it's a specific type of training. You're not getting enough variety.
Right. So it's just the experiences you can't have in Japan. You just have to go out to go get it.
The gyms are different. Like with our gym, you know, we have a team of 40 guys in the UFC. We have a private 2 hours at the UFC PI, but we let a lot of new guys come in and train with us. So on sparring days, like, our guys have, you know, the partners they always like to train with, but then we also will get a top 10 guy that like we throw into the mix. Like, okay, today Raul Rosa Jr. is here, so let's spar with him. Today we had, you know, Rob Font comes in. We have some bigger guys. Actually, who's the guy that was in Ryzin? Who's a Ryzin lightweight champ? He's in the UFC now.
Lightweight
champ. Yeah, he's going to come and train with us. He's like a Russian, or I just talked to him today. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Here, I got him here. You could see.
Musaifa. Right. Yeah, okay. So like, okay.
He's going to come and train with us though. So it's like when we get, you know, we have, you know, a lot of lightweights on our team. We have Renato Canuto, world champion jiu-jitsu grappler. He's now fighting. We have JP Jean-Pierre, #1 prospect in the UFC at welterweight. So we have some great guys, and they get to mix it up with these new guys every week. You get all these different types of training partners.
You just don't have access to that in Japan, I guess. Yeah.
And it's not as free flowing. Like, it's not as easy to be like, to call up a gym in Japan where no one speaks English to be like, hey, can I come and train with you guys for a week? That's it's kind of difficult.
Yeah. Sorry, back to Souza, but he was originally supposed to face Nomura, the guy who beat Pitbull.
Yep.
What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, I thought Souza would beat him. Well, I mean, you never know. I think, how do you say, Nomura?
Yeah.
I think he's the future. Like, I think he will be a big star. And I think he will go to the UFC because he's going through that ATT pipeline. He will go to the UFC. I think he's going to be a big star, and he'll be a great all-rounded fighter with a backbone and striking. Right now, I think that's kind of a scary fight, and I think he's a little bit young, but there's not a lot of guys at the lightweight division, so it's like, who else does he fight, you know? Yeah, so I think it's just one of those things. I would think that Souza would get it done now, but in a couple years, I think Nomura's probably beats him.
Right. Oh, interesting. I do hope that fight eventually happens because Nomura seemed like he really wanted to be the guy who beat Souza, and someone kind of just beat him to it. So it might have been a blessing in disguise. Who knows, right?
Yeah, but it could actually get him to the belt faster. Like if he fights the guy that's the current lightweight champ, you know, Nomura, I think, could beat him now.
It's true.
And then it could put him at a championship and then fight Souza, you know.
Right.
Who knows?
Right.
Who knows what will happen?
Oikubo versus Motoya.
Great fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight. How do you see Oikubo as a fighter? Because I'm not sure. I'm sure you kind of heard of this, but he's kind of known as this boring fighter. Like they call him Shio, which is salt. Like he just kind of like lays on his opponent and kind of holds them down. It's it's horrible, but it's kind of become a joke that he kind of accepted it himself. Well, how do you see him as a fighter?
Well, I think it's amazing what he's doing. I think it seems like he's a great mentor to a lot of young fighters. And I think, you know, to still be doing it and to be winning is amazing. I mean, yeah, he's amazing in that sense. Now, I think it also is a great gauge on the flyweight division right now of like where the level is in the world. Now, I think Oikubo is incredible. And I think to be able to be doing this at like, I think 38 years old, I think you had said, or is amazing. Now, I don't know how that translates to other promotions around the world. I don't know if he can get the job done the way he's doing it in Ryzin around the world. But I do think, you know, he's obviously great. He beat Pantoja. He's had a great career. He's been in the UFC, I think.
I think he did the the Ultimate Fighter.
Tough. Yeah.
He did Tough, and then he made it to in the competition, the semifinals. So one more fight, he would have made it to the show. Yeah,
you know, I think he's amazing. Like to say the least, I have nothing bad to say about him. I think he's amazing. I think he's still doing it. I think he seems like a very positive character and you know, a guy that helps out a lot of people too and coaches. So yeah, he's had a great career and something, you know, he'll go down as one of the greats, I think.
Yeah. What do you think is the key to longevity? Because fighting at 38 is, it's no easy feat. How do you feel about his longevity?
Well, I think you see longevity happen in like a lot of flyweights and bantamweights because they can't usually strike as hard. And so you don't take as much damage. Right. I mean, even in the UFC, like you can be like, look at, I think Tim Elliott's 38.
Yeah, sure.
Like he's old. He's super old. Like, the same as Oikubo. I think, you know, longevity is there's not as much power generally at those weight classes, and they can take a lot more damage than, you know, guys at lightweight or featherweight can take.
Right.
Or welterweight, you know. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a testament to his training. He's probably, you know, Oikubo probably has great coaches. He's probably come up through a great system. I would assume probably takes care of his health. Yeah, and I think also a big component people don't talk about is like keeping the love for the sport and to be able to still love what you do and be motivated to get up and do it every day. You know, you see a lot of guys that they get to the big show, they get to the UFC, and their hearts kind of fade. And usually their career follows soon after.
Keeping motivation. Yeah, that's obviously very important. But
super important.
It's not something you can quite like teach or tell people to do. It's kind of just like the person, right?
Yeah, they have it or they don't, you know.
Oikubo, he's trains at Black Belt Japan. Let's say Taira Tatsuro is in Okinawa. His coach, Matsune-san, was coached by Tsuruya Daihyo. And Tsuruya Daihyo was kind of the head of Black Belt Japan.
Okay.
So there's that connection between Taira and Tsuruya Daihyo and Oikubo. Ray is in the same gym as well. So they're all kind of like just one thing under Tsuruya Daihyo. So it's kind of interesting how that gym, they brought up a lot of strong fighters. That's
certainly a testament to their lineage and their way of teaching and philosophies, and it works. I mean, two of those guys are in the UFC, and one's at the, you know, Ryzin champ and still at the top of his game at 38. So whatever they're doing is, you know, very, very positive.
Are you familiar with Danny Sabatello by any chance?
Yeah.
So he kind of made it a scene in Ryzin, and he just became the champion by beating Naoki. Yeah. Before I ask you about the fight, what do you think about his character?
I mean, I don't know if it's received by American fans. Like, I don't think American people think it's very cool, to be honest with you. But, and I think that's why, you know, he wasn't in the UFC. And yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. He was a good wrestler in college, so I mean, I'm sure I'd get along with him. I know where he went to school. I mean, I know some of his background, and I have some mutual friends that he has. So I'm sure he's a great guy.
Yeah.
His character though is like definitely like a Japanese character.
Like a Japanese character.
Yeah, it's good. Like it fits Japan, like the Italian stallion or whatever he calls himself. Like I could see how Japanese people be like, "Oh, he's cool." You know?
Right. So it wouldn't actually fly in America, or like it wouldn't gather popularity, but in Japan it works.
It obviously didn't.
Right.
Right. He's had a great career in Bellator, and you know, people in America don't follow any of the Bellator fighters.
Yeah, it's true. I was actually very fascinated to see how Sabatello be accepted among the Japanese MMA fans, but it seems like people are kind of warming up to him, and you know, they like this American trash talking guy.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it goes back to Shingo-san and his vision. He does pick good foreigners to come in and fight. You know.
It's true. You got to like consider the, you know, how they sell themselves as well, not just the fight matchup itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of like I got guys on my team that I think could be Ryzin champs right now, but like they're boring personalities.
Right.
The Japan wouldn't like them. I mean, I don't think so. Maybe they think they're like good looking or something, but like they're not guys that are going to have a character talking.
Is there anyone that's like a potential threat to Sabatello? Because it seems like there's not really anyone that could challenge him besides Naoki.
I think Sabatello is much higher than the whole everybody at bantamweight. I mean, you know, Naoki is very, very talented and could beat Sabatello. I thought the fight was a good fight, and I think if they rematch, it could go the other way. Other than those two, the bantamweight division, nobody's standing out to me like a superstar. I do like the little boxer, the guy from Deep Fukudo, or
yeah, the guy with the Medusa tattoo, right?
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's cool.
I don't know if he can compete with like a super high level, well-rounded guy though.
Yeah, it kind of seems like there's no one really there to challenge Sabatello. I mean, of course, if Kyoma can go to bantamweight again, that would be great. But
yeah,
it doesn't seem like that would happen.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's pretty big now. And who knows, maybe you might get a flyweight that could come up and sneak in a win against him.
Right.
I don't know. Like Makoto, he's like a guy that maybe he could bounce between weight classes. Who knows? Maybe.
Is Sabatello like, he kind of looks massive compared to the Ryzin bantamweight fighters, but that's kind of like the norm for the States as far as bantamweight goes?
Yeah. You know, bantamweights are generally huge. Like Raul Rosa Jr., I train with him once a week. He's heavier than I am. I'm 5'11", 180 pounds. Like, I'm not a small guy, you know, so he's a bantamweight. You know, like bantamweights in the States are huge.
Why is that? Is it just because of the culture, or like because is it the wrestling backbone that allows them to cut so much, or is it like normal to cut that much?
Yeah. Like in college wrestling, like if you made it to that level, like I was losing 15 pounds a week. I'd make weight. I'd go back up in weight. I'd lose, 15 to 20 pounds. So like, what is that? Like 8 kg?
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, it's super common. And it's just like, it's normal. It's not really a big deal. So when you see all these weight cut videos from these Japanese guys, like crying and dying, like, all right, relax.
Right. Is this something that you just have to do to get used to? Like you kind of have to do it while like from a younger age, like opposed to like starting later on? How do you develop that?
I don't think so. And like, I've heard about this. They say, I've heard like people criticize, well, Japanese people can't lose weight the same. There's a lot of study that shows they can, but the difference would be in rehydration. On how they rehydrate can be different. So it's like everybody can do it. Now, the good thing is in Ryzin, I don't think you really need to do it, and it's not healthy by any means. It's not good to do this. Yeah. But when you get to like the UFC and you're trying to fight to be the best in the world, you kind of have to do it. So it just is what it is. And I think it's part of the culture. And I think as much as people want to criticize it and make negatives out of it, which there certainly are negatives, it's also just part of being a fighter. And it's like, it's part of being a combat athlete. And I think there's also something to be said about that, Yeah.
How do you feel about the no cutting weight agenda? Because a lot of people feel like cutting weight is just unhealthy and it's kind of like sanctioned cheating.
Yeah, but like when you're not cutting weight, you can also take steroids and mask it a lot easier than if you're cutting weight and taking steroids.
Right.
And so like, and steroids are obviously a very big thing in our sport, where a lot of fighters and a lot of organizations use them. So there is that component of, hey, maybe it's better to let our fighters cut weight because we can monitor them in a more safe way.
Right.
So they're not taking performance enhancing drugs. There's one component to it. The other component is like, how do you really gauge not cutting weight?
Yeah.
Because I've heard stories of one championship where like, you're not supposed to cut weight, but everyone cuts weight.
Yeah.
Like you think who was the guy that fought McGregor, that fought in one championship?
Eddie Alvarez.
Like you don't think he was cutting weight? He's 200 pounds in the off season.
Yeah, they all cut weight. They just need past the hydration. So they have their little system of the way they get past that.
Yeah, and I can tell you exactly how you pass it. You pee a little bit into the jar and then you flush the toilet. And as it's flushing, you put a little bit of the toilet water in it and you're going to pass.
Oh, okay.
It's that simple.
Right.
I don't know. And maybe they have more strict protocols where guys are watching them directly, but I think there's ways around it.
Yeah, there are. So like, there's no way to take it out, but just having the hydration system, people are, maybe they can't cut as much as I guess the argument they make.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I don't have a problem with cutting weight, and it's not going to go away in the UFC. So if you don't like it, then fight at your natural weight against guys that are cutting a lot of weight, or go fight for, another promotion.
Yeah, there were some fighters in the past that were successful with that, like Frankie Edgar, but yeah, it probably wouldn't work in this day and age, right?
Super rare. Yeah, but as performance gets better, you never know.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic that we go just talk about forever.
For sure.
Izawa versus Lena. Same thing as like Savatello and Chef. That it seems like who's she gonna fight next? She's kind of out of opponent, and like a lot of people want to see her fight in the UFC, but she would have to go up in weight just to fight in any division. There's no weight class made for her. So what's she gonna do?
I think she should do whatever makes her happy. I had the pleasure to get to know her. She's a really sweet person, and I think she should just do whatever she wants. I mean, I don't think she necessarily needs to go to the UFC. I think she can, keep fighting and making good money and have a living in Japan and be, hopefully loved by the fans. And if she wants to go to the UFC, then go. Yeah. But I don't think that that's her goal, or at least I've never heard that. So I don't know.
Just hypothetically, is it possible? Do you think she can compete, like just forcing herself to go up another weight and fighting the UFC? Like, no, I think right now there's like matchups that she could win. I don't think she would be the champion in the UFC right now. I think she'd have to put muscle on and kind of develop into that weight class, but she has the skill set to become a champion. Right. So her potential is, I mean, she's just that good.
I think she is that good. I think she's that good. She could do it. It's just going to be like, Weili Zhang, for example, is a champ at that weight class, I'm pretty sure. And like, I've trained with her quite a bit, and like, she's super strong.
Yeah.
So it's just a different level of strength and like, I think pressure and control. But like Seika's technique might actually be higher than theirs. It's hard to say.
Interesting.
Because Seika has a great dynamic of like, she has great takedown entries. Her striking's getting better every single fight, and her jiu-jitsu is obviously excellent.
I mean, after I heard you said that, you kind of want to see it, right? Like,
yeah, of course, I would love to see it, and I think the UFC's wanted Seika for a long time.
Oh, really?
I just don't think that. Yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason. I think Seika likes staying in Japan, and I get it.
Kyoma and Suguru,秋元showed a spectacular KO once again. You trained with him, so how do you see him as a fighter, and like how high do you think his potential is?
The sky is the limit for Kyoma. I think he's going to outgrow JTT. I think he's going to outgrow training in Japan, and I think he's going to have to train abroad to really meet his maximum potential, at least for a couple months out of the year. 3 to 5 months, I would say. He's amazing.
Yeah,
he's amazing. He's certainly going to be the Ryzin champion. I do believe that will come. I think he's probably one of the best talents in Japan right now. Yeah, he's a very talented kid.
What do you feel makes Kyoma special? Like what skill aspect do you think is unique to him?
Well, when I was there, it seemed like he just really loves MMA. He's always in the gym. He's either training or he's staying late and he's coaching, or he was, I know he went to a boxing gym often, or he'd be running. Like, he just trains. And like right now, I think there's a trend in MMA of like, let's train smart. Let's not get hurt. No, you gotta work, dude. And he works. He's a workhorse. And there's a time and place to train smart. And that's when you're a little older, or that's when you're really close to a fight. But like, he works hard, and it shows. His hard work shows. So keep Kyoma away from girls, keep Kyoma away from alcohol, and keep him training hard. He's going to be undeniable, and he already is.
He's quite majime. He always was majime. You know majime, right? The word.
No, what is majime?
Majime is like proper, I guess is the word. Hey Keith, how would you say majime in English? Serious? No, that's not quite it. Like, they're just
dedicated. Maybe
dedicated is word like they don't go drink, they don't go party. When it's time to train, they're there on time, and they just a little bit boring, I guess, because kind of like but you have to be. You have to be like the best fighters in the world. Like, it's not like they're the most fun people to hang out with outside of fighting. But it's so hard to do that when you're a superstar, right?
Well, the thing is, like in Japan, you could become a superstar and not be that good of a fighter, and so then it takes away from your training. In the United States, like, you're never going to be a superstar until you're the champion. So you have to put the work in. Like, it's very rare case that you get like the superstars that aren't champions, like a Dan Hooker or like a Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, like, for example. So yeah, in Japan, it's a little different because these guys can really become mega stars when like they're not that good yet. Like, they've shown signs of greatness, but they are not great yet. But Kyoma, I think, is great, and I think he will be great. I think he'll be a champion for sure.
Yeah, Kyoma. I like him as a fighter. I like his style. I hope everything works out well for him.
Yeah, just a really nice guy too. He's a nice kid for sure.
What's a good matchup for him next?
I think Saito, because I think Saito's a former champ. It's just another good test I think, Montoya really controlled Kilman the grappling. And so I think it's just give him little tests for him to pass and get better and better, and then go get the really big fights. Now, I think by fighting Smoker, like that's a big fight. So it kind of puts you in the conversation of like, okay, does Kilma fight Yeah Man? Does Kilma fight Hiramoto? Does Kilma fight Yuta Kubo, for example? But those are all good strikers, and I think it becomes a 50-50 strike to the death battle. And he's so young, I don't know if he needs that yet.
Right.
If I was to give advice, I'd be like, go fight maybe not a super strong striker, but a good wrestler grappler, and let's beat him. Let's do a couple of those, and then let's go fight a Hiramoto, or let's go fight a Chihiro Suzuki, or whoever, any of those guys.
Right. Is that the kind of style that would give Kilma problems, like a good striker that can also probably stuff his takedowns?
Yeah, like in the UFC, yeah, like a good striker that could also stuff his takedowns and take him down. Yeah, it's going to be a problem for Kilma, I think, just because he's young, and like a really strong, developed man could maybe control him. His striking is obviously phenomenal, Kilma's is, but I think because of like the history of kickboxing in Japan, it becomes like a strike to kill fight. And like, there's just a chance he could get dropped.
Right.
There's a chance he could get knocked out. I'm not saying that those other guys are better than him at striking. I don't know. Maybe Kilma's better than all the guys I mentioned. I'm not sure, but they're all dangerous. The Yaman's dangerous. Yuta Kubo's dangerous. Chihiro Suzuki's dangerous. Hiramoto's dangerous. In striking for sure.
So it's just the risk aspect of it is just like the timing. Thinking about that too, it's like,
well, and he just fought a war with Smoker. They really hurt each other. So like, give him some time. Let his next fight be a grappler again. Test your skills. Go fight Saito or something. And if you win, then maybe you have 6 months off from a lot of brain damage and go fight a big name.
Right. How do you feel about his activity? Like, he's been very active. Is that good when you're young, or is it like a little bit too much he's taking on? How do you feel about that?
No, the time is now. He's doing the right thing. You don't want to burn him out, but it seems like he's got big goals, and like the time to fight a lot is now. I think he's doing all the right things, and I think his last opponent, I actually met the guy,
Suguru,
and I trained with him once. Really nice guy, but he's just not on the same level as Kilma.
Yeah.
Or at least, they're different ages and they have different priorities, I think. And so that wasn't like a dangerous fight for Kilma to take. And even Saito, I don't think is a dangerous fight for Kilma to take. But had it have been like a real strong striker, I think it could have been a little dangerous.
I think he's not gunning, but he's like talking his shit about Daltobeku, the guy who beat Yaman and Suzuki Chihiro. It looks like that's where it's headed. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've kind of forgot about Daltobeku. He's tough. He's dangerous. I think Kilma gets it done. I think Kilma's got like enough situational scrambling on the ground to like pose threats and get away. And then I think his striking, he's very long and fast. And yeah, I think he could beat Daltobeku. I think like Daltobeku or Chihiro Suzuki actually are great fights for him.
Okay. Both those fights are a matchup that the fans can get behind.
For sure. Or even a timing thing, like a Hiramoto Ren, like with Ren coming back. That's a tough first fight for Ren to come back to.
Yeah, that's not a good first fight for Ren.
No, but it's a good fight for Kilma.
Yeah, it's true.
So
it's true.
I think that could be interesting.
Definitely. They'll get that fight going on sometime for sure. Eventually, it's a matter of time.
That'll be a great fight for sure.
Yeah. You were talking about timing and everything, which is very interesting because I wanted to talk to you about Hiroya and Makoto's fight. Well, first of all, as a coach, what did you feel like Hiroya did well, and what could he have done better?
Yeah, his composure has gotten a lot better, and his like situational awareness in fighting. Like, you got to remember, Hiroya is like so new to fighting. He was thrown really into sparring right away. Doesn't have a backbone necessarily in MMA historically. So like to be able to compete with a guy like Makoto, who I think is like a top 25 world ranking fighter, or at least was pretty recently, I thought it was a good fight. And I think had he not have been held down for like that 3 minutes in the second round, I think, or first round, I think it could have been a split decision. Like, it was close, but I think it did show, Hiroya's level and his tactics of how he could evade and, feint and kind of keep Makoto hesitant. So I think it showed growth, but yeah, it's just a bummer that he couldn't get the win,
Do you prioritize like fighters putting on a good fight, like an entertaining fight? Like, is that important to you?
It all depends on where they're at in their career. Sometimes you have to get the boring fight and win. Like you have to do that. Like, think about Montoya versus Kyoma. Montoya needed that boring fight to win. He's not going to stand and fight with Kyoma and strike with him. You know, he's going to control him on the ground and be boring and win the fight and then move on. And that's exactly what he did. So I think there's just a time and place for being exciting and going for it. And then there's also a time and place to just, you got to get a win.
Like case by case.
It's certainly case by case, yeah.
How do you feel about Hiroya being matched up against like higher level competition quite frequently? Because you touched on the topic of timing, you know, when to match up a fighter with who and the importance of that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
You know, well, first, I hope a lot of fans can take a step back and like give Hiroya a lot of respect for, he always will put on a show. He will fight his hardest and he's fighting really good talent. Like Ryzin has great flyweights. He's never given a break. He never gets a break. Now his record is like not a competitive record to like make a noise to go to like the UFC or anything like that. So I don't know if it matters that much. As long as he can keep getting better, I think he's going to have his time. And I think he really could become the Ryzin champion. Like honest in my heart, I believe Hiroya can become the Ryzin champion. It's just going to take time. Just like Yuki Motoya, he probably will become a Ryzin champion. And it's been a really long run for him.
How do you feel about the development as far as the athlete goes when he's fighting higher competition? Like sometimes I feel like you aren't able to like develop the skills you practice to the maximum when you're going up against someone that's just better than you all the time.
Yeah, you know, I don't think you've been able to see like how great Hiroya can be in moments. I think, you know, obviously you put him against Master Bridge, he smoked Master Bridge, and it was exciting. It was an exciting fight. I think you put him against like another guy at that level that's competitive, but just, you know, at a little bit lower level of MMA, I think you're going to see a very exciting and impressive Hiroya. And he's getting better. So I think the fact that he's faced such tough competition and we've had to prepare for that and he's had to battle through it and learn from his other, you know, other coaches he has, learn from myself, learn from the training partners we have in the States and in Japan. You know, I think you're going to see him come alive in the future.
We just haven't been able to see it.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. It's a blessing and a curse, like the Mikuru effect. Like, if it wasn't for Mikuru, Hiroya would have the long road to becoming famous. But, you know, he's come up from a great gym that really builds stars, and he became very popular. He's got a great character. He's a great person, and I think that's why the fans love him. And then on top of that, he's just had the courage to go and try to challenge the world, and he got that knockout against Joe Rai and then came to America and really said, you know, made the statement, like, I want to try to do something with this sport. And I think Ryzin has been challenging him at every turn, you know? Yeah.
I guess it's hard to say no to an offer from Ryzin.
Yeah, I don't think you do. I think most people say yes. I think they just say yes to whatever they get, you know? So.
Right. I personally would like to see Hiroya fight against, you know, like it might be like a little bit of a not so polite thing to say, but someone on his level would be a good fight. Like I would like to see more of those.
Yeah, and I think he's right there. Like he's like an in-betweener. Like he's good enough to fight the best guys in the division and have good fights with them.
Yeah.
Like, he had a great fight with Motoya, a great fight with Makoto. So he's good enough to fight those guys. But yeah, I think we all want to see him win. We see how much he grinds and puts into the sport and the sacrifices he makes. And, you know, I see it every day. He lives at my house, you know. So, yeah, we want to see him win. I'd like to see him fight like an Arson or like even an Ito Yuki rematch. I think would be great.
That would be great. Doesn't that help the athlete as far as confidence goes? I mean, putting up a good fight against a higher competition obviously does something for his confidence, but actually winning must have an effect as well. But how do you feel about that?
Yeah, because you can't forget what it feels like to win. Because what happens is you get guys that lose, and then sometimes they forget what it means to win. And so now when they go and fight, their mindset is not to win. Their mindset is, I don't want to lose. And so they don't go for the win. And I'm not saying that that's the same case with Hiroya, but, you know, yeah, you want guys that can win. You want to be able to get fights that you can win, you know.
Winning, I guess it's kind of like a skill that's developed.
Yeah, there's momentum too. Like when you're coming off a win, you're feeling good. You're feeling like, okay, what I'm doing is right.
It's an interesting topic because it's not something you can really see with your eyes, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We talked a long time. I enjoyed it though. It's good to talk in English and, you know, talk about MMA.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it too.
No, thank you. Is there anything you wanted to shout out or like promote or anything?
No, you know, I'm trying to work on a way to bring some training programs to translate them, to get them out to, you know, Japanese fighters and Japanese just individuals that want to improve their health and stuff, but I don't really have anything set. So no, I'm excited. I hope to be out at the Ryzin event in March.
Okay.
And yeah, I hope to see the fans and maybe we can catch up and have a beer or something.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. March. All right. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Billy. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah,
I appreciate it a lot.